Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we are once again going to be talking about that extreme upcoming weather. We have a massive severe weather event that's going to be taking place later this week, and as a bonus, actually a little bit next week as well. So there's two separate events. We're going to be talking about all of that within this video. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that the severe weather later this week is going to be worse, or the severe weather early next week? Let me know in the comments down below which one do you think will be worse, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and first things first, I just want to go over day one a little bit, because we had 4 general thunderstorm risk areas, and I thought that was a lot, but now we have 6 general thunderstorm risk areas, so this is just all over the place. I don't understand how it's this, scattered about. I've never seen it look like that, so very, very interesting day. Now, it's as we move towards day 2, which is going to be tomorrow, Friday, April 23rd, and as you can see, we have a very large general thunderstorm risk extending from Wyoming down to Texas, all the way eastward to Georgia and Florida. So this is going to be pretty widespread thunderstorms tomorrow, but we have that marginal risk there in the darker green, which is also a rather large area, and then we have a slight risk area that is also very large, and I do anticipate an enhanced upgrade somewhere in there, but likely for Oklahoma and Texas at least. And as you can see, we're already seeing Oklahoma down through most of, or I guess at least like a third of Texas. We see most of Louisiana there, and then a lot of Mississippi also in this slight risk area. So this includes Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth area, and then also up through Oklahoma City. So this is a very large region, and usually when it is this large and we are expecting quite a bit of some I guess higher end parameters tomorrow, I do anticipate at least an enhanced risk upgrade there. Let's just take a look at the individual risks, and first off we have our day 2 wind outlook. So within 25 miles of a given location, we have a 5% chance of damaging wind there in the green. We have a 15% chance there in those 2 yellow regions there. And then let's just take a look at that hail risk, and this is a little bit more widespread. Again, within 25 miles of a given location, we have a 5% chance of hail there in the green. We have a 15% chance there of hail in that yellow region. In that hatched region, you can see from Oklahoma down through Texas is where they anticipate the chance for 2-inch diameter hail or more. So some very large hail is also possible throughout the day tomorrow during our severe weather event. Now, for our day 2 tornado outlook, we have a 2% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a given location there in the green. So that's going to be pretty much widespread throughout most of our marginal risk region. And then as you can see, we have 2 5% chance regions there, one for Oklahoma and then one there for Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. I do expect that if we do get that enhanced risk upgrade, we will also see this get upgraded as supercells are possible throughout the day tomorrow. So I'm just anticipating a higher tornado chance will be definitely possible with this one. Anyways, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the modeled guidance. We're going to take a look at the temperatures, dew point, shear, and even the cape here for day 2 tomorrow, and just taking a look at all of those things. Alright, now here we are taking a look at the high temperatures, and this is going to be approximately 3 or 4 p.m. here. And as you can see, for Texas, mostly Texas, and then also Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, those temperatures are a little bit higher. We have 60s up there for Oklahoma, which will be sufficient, but mostly for Texas and some of those surrounding states, we have 70s and even 80s there on the very western extent of that state. Here's those dew points. Look at that. We have a huge dry line there in Texas. The dew points are in the 70s and upper 60s out east of that dry line, but west of the dry line we have, 15, even 6, a dew point of 6 there showing up. So, I mean, very, very dry air right behind that dry line, and that will help encourage the severe weather and just drive this event for sure. Here is the CAPE, which is our convective available potential energy. This is thunderstorm food. That's always how I describe it. If you're anywhere in the greens, we have about a 1,000 to 2,000 CAPE setting up, which is basically what we would consider sufficient for severe weather. There in the yellows, that's where we have 2,000 to 3,000 CAPE, and then most of those reds is where we have 3,000 to 4,000 CAPE. The maximum being picked up here on this frame is 3,500, so that is 3 times basically what you want for severe weather development. So this is going to be very sufficient. That's basically what I'm trying to say. We're going to have very high CAPE. Now for our shear, and this really helps with some wind-driven events and also tornadoes to develop. We are going to have an elevated amount of shear there in the browns and the reds especially. So for Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, basically all of our severe weather regions, we're going to be seeing a higher end shear event as well. Now let's just begin to take a look at some of this simulated radar. As you can see, we're taking a look at some storminess already around here by 3 or 4 p.m. Lots and lots of thunderstorms have already developed. But they get worse by the time we're reaching approximately 11 p.m. there on Friday. You can see a new line of thunderstorms developing there for Oklahoma and a bit of Texas. We see the front line of thunderstorms to the south moving through into Louisiana and Mississippi. So this is going to be kind of a 1-2 punch. And eventually, by the time we're reaching about 5 a.m., look at that. We kind of have a bow echo setting up for Arkansas and Texas there. That would be an extremely windy thunderstorm if it was to appear that way once we're actually reaching that point and looking at the real radar imagery. So that's very interesting to see a setup like that. As you can see, by the time we reach about Saturday morning at about 8 a.m. or so for the Gulf states and some of the more deep south regions, we do get more of that bow echo, wind-driven type storm mode, and that's mostly what I'm going to be watching for there on Saturday. Speaking of Saturday, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at the severe weather risk for Saturday. And then we're just going to move on with the model guidance for that day. And then we're going to take a look at next week's severe weather risk as well. So all of those things are coming up in just a moment. All right, now here we are taking a look at that day 3 risk. This is going to be for Saturday and through a little bit early on Sunday. As you can see, a marginal risk there in that darker green region for the southeast. And then we do have that very large slight risk region for Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and a bit of southern North Carolina as well. And that could get an enhanced risk upgrade or more, obviously. We have plenty of time for any sort of adjustments to be made. This is by the time I reach about 2 p.m. there on Saturday. As you can see, there will be some storms in the deep south. The high temperatures, they're going to be generally in the 70s and 80s for all of these regions, so it's going to be very high temperatures. The dew points are going to be in the upper 60s, a little bit of some lower 70s, but mostly upper 60s. This will be enough for severe weather to develop, and as you can see, those two things translate here to very high CAPE. Again, we're taking a look at widespread greens, which is the 1,000 plus amounts, widespread yellows as well within there, and that's the 2,000 to 3,000 amounts, and then we do see some scattered in reds, which is going to be the 3,000 plus amounts. So Friday and Saturday, we're going to have similar CAPE amounts and potential there for that severe weather development. These thunderstorms eventually, by the time we're reaching about 2 a.m. there on Sunday, begin to reach the coast, and that event will be coming to an end. All right. Now, by the time we reach Tuesday, this is going to be the Tuesday and through Wednesday risk. We do have a day 6 probability outlook, and this is going to be for Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and this yellow region here is a 15% chance of severe weather, and this does typically translate to a slight risk of severe weather. That's what we saw actually with our severe weather event we're taking a look at on Friday. We did have that show up, I think, on day 4, so we had a 15% chance, and that translated over to a slight risk. That's very, very typical. So we can expect all of these areas here in this yellow region to have a slight risk by the time it's a day 3 risk once they add those individual outlooks there. So we will see some more information about it later on. I'm going to be talking about these events, over the coming days. Here's the high temperatures that day, and it's going to be a little hotter. We're going to be looking at upper 70s, lower 80s for Tuesday. So this is going to be a little bit of a higher temperature severe weather event. One of the first ones of this year where we're in the 80s for a significant chunk of it. The dew points are a little lower than on Tuesday, they're a little lower than Friday. As you can see, mostly just upper 60s, no 70s showing up. And look at this. That dry line moves so far east by the time we're taking a look at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. And this is just going to help enhance those severe weather storms. Here's that CAPE. As you can see, again, widespread greens all the way up into Iowa, Nebraska, and probably areas north of there as well. We see the yellows, which again is 2,000 to 3,000 amounts widespread throughout Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas are slight risk regions. And then we see even reds on the western extent of that 15% chance area there. And that's going to be our 3,000 to 4,000 amounts showing up for Oklahoma and Texas mostly. Here's what that radar could look like. This is kind of like a lower resolution version of it, but yeah, widespread storms. We see a strong low pressure center there over southwestern Kansas, and then we see some stronger storms developing to the east and to the south of that low pressure center. This is a very typical, very classic setup. And eventually, by the time I reach about 8 p.m. on Wednesday, you can see this will have moved up into some other states on the eastern end of the Great Plains, mostly moving into the Midwest. And possibly the Ohio Valley there. So this could be a multiple-day severe weather event as those storms continue on eastward all the way to the East Coast eventually by the time we reach the weekend. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that today. Check out this picture I took yesterday. I uploaded this to our Instagram page, actually, our Instagram story, but I just wanted to share this with everybody. It was a beautiful sight yesterday. Look at that sunset on the bottom right there, and then look at the waves and the clouds. Honestly, this picture does not do it justice. I don't know how to explain it, but when we walked outside and looked at this, first off, we saw the sunset because you always see the pink out the window, and you're like, oh, I gotta go check it out. And then you just see these giant waves in the clouds. The clouds were so beautiful, combined with that sunset. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my entire life, for sure. If you ever want to get your picture kind of featured here on the YouTube channel, DM it to our Instagram. Go follow us on Instagram and DM it to us. That's in the description and in the pinned comment down below. It should be at least. It's at least in the description. Go follow us, and if you ever get cool weather pictures, send it to us, and we might feature it on the channel. For our confidence tab today, we're at a 6 out of 6. Obviously, these severe weather events are upcoming over the coming days, and I feel very confident that we will have an enhanced risk or possibly more. We're taking a look at severe weather. It's not really a low confidence event at this point. We know this is going to be happening. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, what risk level do you think Friday will end up with? And Jonathan Slack said, I think Friday will be upgraded to an enhanced risk. If that happens, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a moderate risk as well. So yeah, definitely, I think somewhere between an enhanced or moderate is likely here for Friday upcoming. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Property Damage, John Bennick, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Balemo, Adam S., Larry the Pan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aiden Mattis. Alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Cherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalesa, Michael Buell, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Flagos, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be a part of this Patreon end screen of the day, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. Let's just go ahead and check out our channel members highlight of the day as well. That's going to be our Weather Top Dog Hair Farms 1, and then our Superfan Phoenix Nimitz. If you'd like to check out this one and support the channel, you can do so by clicking that button next to the subscribe button and joining today. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to destroy the like button. Be sure to comment to help the YouTube algorithm out. Subscribe for more weather-related content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.